Hello, everyone, and welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs go all in on their business, and we introduce them to professionals that can help them to do so. Today, we have a very special guest, Eric Mulvin. How are you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Please introduce the name of your business.
So my name is Eric Mulvin. I'm with Pac Biz Outsourcing. It's a call center. We do customer service outsourcing for 10 years now out of the Philippines.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Definitely looking forward to getting that. And Eric, we understand that time is one of our most valuable resources. So let's go ahead and jump into things and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Really interesting journey here. And you can see, for those of you who are watching and not listening, my first dollar bill is back there behind me, and it's dated March 14th, 2012. My first business I started, I took my last paycheck from my job at Yelp. Used to work there pre-IPO when they were a startup, and I used that to start my first business. I got a loan for my first taxi cab. So that was December 1st, 2011 when I bought that first vehicle. And that started the entrepreneurial journey. And I actually, a few months later, started a marketing agency. I was doing freelance work for another company. And so that was the second business. And several businesses later, I started quite a few around transportation, trying to get that taxi business off the ground. The marketing agency paid the bills. I made videos, I made websites for people. That went great. The taxi business just sucked up money. But I call it my street MBA. I learned so much running that company that, the lessons I got from that has helped fuel me over the last like 10, almost 15 years now, since I started that first business. But yeah, the first business though, taxi company, I ran that from about 2011 to 2015. We got it to 10 cars. Really proud of that business though. We were trying to take on Uber and Lyft head on. I have a page of 50 pages, or a notebook of 50 pages full of notes about an app back in 2011, 2012 that looks just like Uber. And we had the first app in Arizona in 2012 for transportation before Uber was even on the scene here. We were too small, we were too tiny. We didn't have the capital funds that they had. But part of that journey was, as we were building this taxi business, and it was me and a friend, we ran into issues. People were calling us day and night, asking for a cab. Great problem to have. But literally 24/7, people call in, and it was my business partner. He was managing the drivers and managing the calls, and then I was doing sales and marketing, running business operations, and it was killing him, getting calls day and night. So we tried outsourcing to a company, answering service, pay $1 per call, and they answer the phones. They were messing that up. We tried another company to outsource, and they were messing it up. And I was like, there's got to be a solution to this. And that is how the call center started. So in 2013 or so, we started with our first team of people out there in the Philippines, taking calls, and we got it to 24/7, where already in 2013, a year and a half, 2 years into the business, we were able to step away completely and let that run. I got married in August of 2013. And I went on my honeymoon. I was gone. I was disconnected from the company for a whole month, and things were running smoothly.
Nice.
So that's how I knew, okay, we got something going on here. But that was kind of the beginning of what turned into eventually the business today, Pac Biz Outsourcing.
Now, you said that it was transportation. You guys were doing the taxi business, helping people to get to where they wanted to go. But then you also said it was a marketing company that you started. Now, tell us a little bit about how you got into the marketing. Is that something you went to school with, something you just were infatuated doing? Tell us a little bit about that marketing part.
Yeah, it is really fascinating. I taught myself HTML in sixth grade, and I started building websites and built some websites for some national organizations when I was in high school. And this is so early on in the internet that these national organizations didn't have a website, and then when they saw that there was someone else that they had no control over running a website for their organization, they shut me down.
I got you.
So, but it's good lessons to learn as we went on. So the marketing agency, I worked for an agency for a couple years prior to Yelp. I was the original content creator. That was actually my title back in 2009. I was writing YouTube spots for places like Arizona Lottery, Casino Arizona out here. It's a big casino, Arizona Department of Health, doing
Mm-hmm.
government work for spots there. So really fascinating job, but they lost a big account and they had to lay a lot of people off. And, it's a lesson that I fully understand these days. We
Mm-hmm.
employ 250 people and, over the last 10 years, we've had ups and downs where we lose a big account. You can't keep 50, 100 people when there's no job for them. And so, yeah,
Yes.
it's just part of the journey, but it's interesting being on the employee side and then being on the business owner side.
Yes, yes, yes. Makes a lot of sense. I was trying to tie it all together because, in this particular segment, we want to build a good foundation, want people to understand what you went through, what you had to endure. More importantly, some of those victories that you've had. So you're coming along, taxi business, and now you got the marketing. Where are we going from here?
Yeah, so in 2015, we had to wave the white flag. We gave up we were just getting, we lost money left and right with that taxi business and not sustainable. But turns out there's a really cool story there where there was a local company here in town in Phoenix, and we got to know them pretty well. And when I told them, told the owners, hey, we're shutting things down, they did two things. One, they offered me a job, and they said, hey, come work for us.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing they did is they offered to hire our call center agents. And they said, hey, these guys sound really great on the phone. I've talked to them. We've called into your company, interacted with your staff. They're really great. Why don't you bring them on down to our office? We can give them some jobs here and we could interview them. And I said, well, that sounds great. I appreciate the opportunity, but all of these people are in the Philippines and they thought they were in the US. And so
Okay.
right there, like, hey, we got something here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're so good sounding that you don't even realize that they're in the Philippines. And so with
Yes.
a handshake, he actually right there on the spot was like, well, I'll be your first client and I'll take these guys on. Let's see how we can make this work. So still today, to this day, we're still working together. And I've thought about putting a contract in place, but still a handshake. Only client. Don't come to me thinking that you can shake hands and that's why we work together. Like we do agreements, but with that
Yeah.
very first client, that's how we got started. And we've been able to grow with them. They're in the taxi space. Imagine, a lot of people really count out the taxi industry. We're working with
Mm-hmm.
companies that are bringing in automation, bringing in technology, bringing in uh, really innovative tools, and then acquiring other companies. There's a lot of movement going on there. Just like every other industry, they're dealing with private equity. They're dealing with people coming in and shaking things up. Same here. It's all happening here. So we're able to work with some of the top people in the world in the different markets across like London, Vancouver, New York, DC, all across the world. So
Now, so you got that first client that is in the transportation business, and things are starting to go and grow. Now, tell us all about the business. Tell us what it is that you're doing. Tell us those services that you're providing, and who is an ideal client we can keep an eye out for you.
yeah, all right. Well, great question. And to answer that, it's like a two-part question because there's the Pac Biz outsourcing that everybody that knows our company, that people know today. Most of you guys don't know who we are, but there's where we're going in the future too. So I'll start with the where we're at today. And for the last 10 years, we have done customer service outsourcing. You come to us, we need people on the phones. We provide dedicated staffing. And so we have a team of 250 people. And of the people on the phones, when you start working with a client, that's their full relationship, and they do everything for that business. So they become a remote employee. They become part of your team meetings, and that relationship. We have really low turnover, under 20% attrition, which in the call center is massive. So that team is still there a year, 2 years later, 3 years later, and so what can you do with that when every 3, 4 months you're not swapping people? You got the same team member. You could build just like you would with an employee, build the responsibilities, give them more tasks, grow with them as your business grows. Because we've been working with people 10 years. The company we worked with 10 years ago is not the same company today. And same with us. If you haven't changed in 10 years, you're on your way out. So
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, all right. So, as far as where we are, you said that's what you're doing and that's what you're providing. You said there's a second aspect to it of future wise.
Yeah, yeah. So aside from the customer service, we've been known for, and we do different tiers of support. So as you get more sophisticated, we have level two, level three, but we see, what's happening out there in the world. I've been using ChatGPT, for example, for 2 years now. I just came back from my state of the company address in the Philippines, where I talked to the whole company, and now this is the second year in a row. February of last year is when I first really addressed everybody about AI, and you could imagine if you're a business owner here, you might be hearing a lot about it. Maybe you're starting to take some steps. In the Philippines, they're behind, and so nobody's talking to them about AI. Nobody is out there. Business leaders aren't having meetings and conferences and discussions. It's starting, but it's very small, and only like even here in the U.S., it's still a lot more to go. So, but my message has been AI is coming. It's transforming everything. And the work of the future is not going to be call center work, period. In the next 5 to 10 years, we're not going to see any more people answering phones like we have been today. Where we have, like, even in our small city, we're in a smaller town, college town with 250,000 people. And there's some employers that have 5,000 people working in a call center. I would look at that as a big liability and a risk going into
Okay.
late 2020s, 20 like
Hmm.
into 2025, 2027, 2028, because the technology shift, a lot of those jobs, are going to change. You're going to have to transform your workforce. And so that's what we've been in the process of doing. So we're not going to be just answering phones in the future, because I don't see that happening. I don't like
Hmm.
play around with ChatGPT enough. You could see if this can't answer your phones, uh, at least some of the basic stuff,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
like you're not looking at this technology close enough. So our vision in the future, we're going to help companies with AI readiness. We're going to help them implement AI technology, and in all different parts of the company. So before we just focus on the call center, in the
Hmm.
future we're going to be helping you. Maybe you have an issue that you need automation or support software in HR, in payroll, in finance, in your management and training, operations. And so then we're going to come in at all levels. Once we put in the automation and the software, the AI, now we put in people. And so those
Okay.
jobs are future proofed. You don't have to worry about automation coming in. Automation's already there. Now we put people in, and we put experts in. So we want to raise the level of talent we have in our company, and help it out. So, and we're already starting to do that with our clients today. It's just we're just a couple months away from rolling it out to everybody else. So
Oh,
you'll see
okay.
that's
Okay.
the future of where we're going.
Well, that's a good deal. Now, that was a great segue for myself because I appreciate you sharing, what it is that you're doing and how you're helping others. But I want to build a framework of what the ideal client looks like, or let's just say I don't want to say your best client, but one of those
Yeah.
great types of clients. That way, the people that are watching the show today can know who would be a good referral. So go ahead and start to paint that picture for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been spending a ton of time researching this, looking at our clients, so we have a really clear picture on who our ideal clients are. And so those, if you're listening today, you're wondering, if I'm a good fit for Pac Biz. One, you have calls coming in. Right today, you need people to answer the phone, provide back office support. And so right now, today, that is the kind of companies that we could work with. We work with businesses typically that need somewhere between 2 to 5 to start, up to 50 or more,
Hmm.
uh, and then we provide the staffing for that. And the as we transform to the AI support, we're going to be working with the same companies, and we don't plan on like I don't want to go do this for everybody everywhere. But the plan is, as we work with these guys, we'll come in and offer these same services. If you're big enough that you need a call center, well, you probably have an HR team. You probably have payroll. So you have people on staff. You got to pay them. You probably have someone hiring those people. And so we can come in and help with all that, and provide support. So people answering the phones, and then people, if you need help with automation in your company, and putting people in place. So you're like, I know we got too many people. I know our
Hmm.
processes are broken. I know
Hmm.
that there's more efficient ways to do this. You can't just slap chat GPT on your problems and solve it. It's not going to happen. You try it. Good luck. Put your answer, put your problem into chat GPT. If that's the only solution, and this is something I tell my staff all the time as we're transitioning to AI, if all you're doing as an employee is taking what ChatGPT gives you, and that's your email, that's your document, that's your process, that's whatever you're doing, I'm
Hmm.
just going to replace you with ChatGPT.
Okay.
We need people. I need
Right.
smart people there to look at what it's saying and go back and forth with that tool and get the right output. Get the right, what's the best set of plans to go forward with this client, with this employee, with this initiative. That's where we're going. So we're really making great progress on that and being able to offer that to clients.
That's awesome. I definitely appreciate you sharing about your journey. Most importantly, talking about Pac Biz and what it is that you're doing and what that future looks like. What I want to transition into now is some of those experiences. Yourself, serial entrepreneur. You've been doing this for many years now, ups, downs, all arounds. And I am confident, Eric, that you have received and well, have acquired and nurtured a lot of business skills. And I wanted to see if you could take a few moments and share with us some of those business skills that have worked well for your business and businesses that maybe some of the entrepreneurs that are watching today can add to their bag. So can you please share some of those with us?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got plenty of little nuggets here of some knowledge to drop, especially if you're a
Yes.
business owner listening. I'll show you this. One of the biggest transformations that I had in my company in the last year, and I've learned, not to beat myself up too much about this. There is a book here, Profit First. All right. So this is one thing. A lot of businesses, you chase revenue. When you talk to other business owners, you talk about what's your top line? How much did you make last year? Oh, we did whatever millions of dollars of revenue. That's all great. And we set our goals around that too in our company. We want to hit this size company, not thinking about the profitability. You could have an Amazon sized company and lose money. In fact, they've done it. They've lost money every
Yes.
year.
Yes.
And so, but we can't afford to do that as business owners. We don't have that kind of stock leverage that they have. So we have to be able to make money in our business. And when you start, I have everybody in our company now talking about profitability. And every decision that they're making is based off of that. Before, for the last 9 years of my business, it was just me. And so my suggestion, share that with your team because now I have all of my leadership team thinking about, hey, we shouldn't do that. Like, think second guessing software decisions, because what impact will that have on the profitability? Typically business owners don't get much pushback from their team. They're like, hey, this is the software we're going with now. This is the direction we're going with. That's it. But if you
Yep.
had team members pushing back, what about, hey, we didn't really look at this is going to cost us this over here. This is going to impact this stuff. We're having those conversations in our company now. And I think a lot of people, a lot of business owners, myself included, for 9 years of my business, that's how I operated. I'm like, and what happens when you're growing your company and you're not thinking about profitability, you're scaling up those problems. So now you're a twice the size company. Well, you didn't fix those expense issues. So now
Hmm.
you've doubled the size of those expense issues. And so, like if you focus on that, it will expose issues in your business and force you to address them. Whether you want to or not, now that's up to you, but at least you have the data to make that decision versus, I don't know what's going on with my company. It's not making money. I don't know why.
Hmm.
You don't want to be in that boat. And if you're asking yourself those questions, I'd start with this book.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I focus on the team and helping to read some of those books. I saw a book on the bookshelf that we're gonna take a look at. That traction book. I think that's what I saw.
Hmm.
That orange and blue
Yeah,
back there.
that's another one we do. We
Yeah.
did that. We put that in place about 5 years ago. We painted our core values on our wall as a big mural: family, respect,
Mm.
teamwork, compassion, personal growth. Um, but even that, we did the self implementation with EOS. Most people work with an implementer.
Hmm.
Um, we skipped a couple things, and those couple things came back to bite us. So some more advice.
Okay.
don't think that you're too good for these processes and frameworks and skip a couple chunks over here because we're great
Yeah.
with people. We don't need to deal with this because we got great people. Like, no, like you
Right.
still need to manage your people. You still need to
That's
measure
right.
them, their
That's
performance.
right.
You still need to hold them accountable. And otherwise, if you don't, you're going to create problems for yourself. So, that's another lesson we learned along the way. But EOS, great tool.
Yes.
I think the lesson there is put a framework in your business.
That's
If you
right.
don't have that, you're running blind, and you're going to be looking at things that you think you're covering, but what are you missing that you're not looking at because, you think, I don't know. It's just, I went to business school, right?
Hmm.
And I went and learned. I did marketing and entrepreneurship program through ASU, and so I learned all this stuff. I read through financials and anything, but it doesn't matter. You can go through all these case studies all day until you're actually like in it and you're looking at financial statements and you're like, what does this mean? What, and you just got stacks of papers.
Right.
You All right, you got to go back and learn and really learn what this means. Don't ignore it because it's going to come back to bite you in the butt someday. Maybe not this year, maybe a couple years from now, but I think that's something that if you've been in business long enough, you're like, you realize like, oh man, those things that you don't address, they're not going away. It's not going to
Yes.
solve itself. It's going to come back to get you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that knowledge. I talk to business owners all the time and I tell them not only do you have to work in the business, you got to work on the business. And that story that you just shared is working on the business, not skipping steps. So definitely appreciate you dropping those nuggets. Hopefully those entrepreneurs that are watching today heard what Eric said. Now, Eric, moving to that next segment, we want people to understand that you are a human, a fashionable human at that, because I love that shirt you
Thanks.
got on there. But let's just say that Pac Biz is going good and it is automated and everyone else is automated. And now money and time is not an issue. What would Eric do with his time?
Oh, that's an easy one. And I'm trying to do it now. Uh,
Okay.
it's kind of hard to do everything at the same time, transforming my company into the AI revolution. And I didn't mention I got two young girls. I
Yeah.
got an amazing wife. I should also point out, I talked about that marketing company. When I started the call center, I
Mm-hmm.
gave that business to her. She learned how to make websites too. Fast forward now, this was almost exactly 10 years ago that she took over that business. She's got a team of about, I don't know, 13 or 14 people. She
Okay.
built the agency up. She's now supporting a ton of companies doing their marketing, SEO, digital marketing, ads, and stuff. So, and we share some of the same clients. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool to have that. But I got to give her a shout out because she's an amazing woman business owner, minority
Yes.
business owner, and we don't have enough of those
Yes.
out there. So,
Awesome.
um, all right. So, what would I be doing if I had? Well, one, I'd be spending more time with my wife because we're both
Okay.
working too much. But my other passion, and the thing I've said for years, and people who know me well know this isn't a secret. I want to be making documentaries and movies one day, and I'm getting pretty close to the goal I set, where I want to get something on a streaming platform.
Mm-hmm.
So been taking some baby steps there, but I love photography and shooting documentaries, and like I came out with a calendar recently for for my clients, showing off some of my photography.
Okay.
Uh, or yeah, so there's doing more of this kind of stuff is what I'd love to do because I got to do some pretty cool work last year. It's frustrating when your photography work goes viral and you're doing video posts for your business and it's like get the same traction because I had some stuff
Yes.
that last year got shared millions of times. I mean, like
Okay.
NASA astronauts commenting on the post and stuff,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
pretty cool to get that out there. But like, can't translate that to the business. But
Yeah.
it's still cool though. And I'm actually able to tie those together because like, hey, we're talking about it right here now,
Yeah.
and I'm able to use that as stories to motivate my team, like and other business owners. Look, you got to have hobbies. If you pour all of yourself into your business and you don't live a life,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be able to find all the solutions to solve the problems in your company. You need to be able to
Yes.
take time away to de-stress and that's where some of the ideas come and the sparks of inspiration. If all you're doing is you got your head down, you don't even get a chance to work on your business because you're in it so deep. You're
Right.
you're gonna have problems you're never gonna find your way out of. And so those are so important. And it's crazy to think that, you know, you could, as a business leader, you could be more effective in 40 hours and 60 or 80 hours, but you can if you really like, so you could have the time to exercise, so you could have the time to spend time with family, to do things you enjoy doing. Because if you don't do that, you're going to become this giant ball of stress, and no one's going to want to work with you, and you're not going to be able to do your initiatives, and you're not going to come up with those great ideas to change your business into the future. Because the world is changing, AI is changing the way business is done, and I really feel like nobody is ready for this. And people
Yes.
are trying to say that, oh, AI, you know, it's got a long way to go. Well, the stuff that we're doing with it today, I have a phrase I love to say. I want to be doing things in 5 years using technology that doesn't exist today. I used to say
Hmm.
that for years, especially at the beginning of my company.
Hmm.
Now, I've changed that to I want to be doing things using technology that doesn't exist next month. Like things are
Okay.
moving so fast with AI,
Yes.
and we're coming up with innovative ideas. There's no playbook for this. Like the stuff that we're doing with HR, with payroll, with training, with operations, there's nothing. I'm going out to search on the internet, like who's doing this stuff with AI? Nobody.
Hmm.
It doesn't. There's no
Hmm.
software that solve these problems. We're really coming up some cool stuff. So I'm excited to see. The thing is, I'll leave you this. I'm talking a lot here, but
No,
I want to
no, it's
provide
fine.
people with some hope because there's a lot of doom and gloom around AI. And the
Hmm.
thing I want people to understand is there is like we don't even realize all the jobs that are going to be created, right? We don't even realize all the solutions that we're going to be, all the problems we're going to be able to solve with AI. We're just thinking about how do I keep this job today? You know, like people who are driving vehicles, you know, that stuff is going to get automated. People answering phones, you know, even a lot of white collar work that, you know, basic stuff that happens in accounting firms and law firms, like that stuff is getting automated. But
Hmm.
what are we all going to be able to do? What problems are we going to be able to solve when we're not focusing on that? And we have the time to be able to do that. And with AI, it's going to help a lot. So business owners, you know, if you've been ignoring it, start looking into it. Start to see how it could impact your business and how you could use it. Because the sooner you start, the sooner you'll be able to see the benefits of that and really start changing things. Because we're moving so fast. We're doing stuff that used to take 2 to 3 months in 1 week.
Okay.
I'm not even playing. Like
Yeah.
that's what's
Well,
happened in the last 30 days now that we're moving that quickly. So
that fast.
if your competitors have implemented this and are moving that quickly, you'll never be able to keep up. How
Yeah.
could you
Yeah.
move that fast? You can't. So you got to look at this stuff.
Well, no worries. And like I said, Ed, listen, we love people who are early adopters and super excited and passionate about it. That's the way that things work. You know, you're going to have both ends of the scale. You're going to have people that see it happen and have that vision and going ahead and capitalizing on it instead of just talking about it. But then you got those on the other end that are always going to be naysayers and probably will never change, but they will get lost at the back of the herd there. So, you know, please you don't have to apologize for your excitement about it because you can see it, and that's a good thing. Now, I definitely appreciate you sharing, you know, what some of those things you would do in your free time. The next question I have for you is if someone has any questions about the services that you're offering, want to talk about those skills or share that same passion you do about those things that are coming up in the future, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Best way, probably reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Eric Mulvin. You can find me on there. I believe there's actually a couple other Eric Mulvins, but I'm the only one looks like this uh, running a call center. So you should be able
Right.
to see pretty quickly that it's me. But
Right.
message me on there. I got a full-time assistant that can help make sure that we get something on the calendar scheduled, and she should be responding right away. So yeah, reach out to me there, and we can get a call going.
All right. Well, excellent. Thank you so much for coming on today. We truly do appreciate you sharing everything with us. And because you were able to share, we want to honor you by giving you the last word. So please look into the camera and tell the people something good.
All right. Well, some last words would be I'll have to wrap it up with some AI talk here. You know, if you're looking at your business and you're like, maybe let's say you run a laundromat, what's the most obscure thing you think would not need AI? I guarantee you there is still something that you could do, even on the operations, even in the finance, with AI that'll help to make you more efficient. And what could you do if you had an extra 5, 10 hours a week? That's huge. If you look at that over the course of a year, that's an extra couple months of work, and that's just you individually. What if you could do that to your team? And everybody has more work that we want out of our business, more output we want out of our workers. And you can't, there's only so much overtime you can give. There's only so much budget you can provide to that. This is how you get there. So my advice, look into this. Don't say that, it won't apply to my business. Doesn't matter. No, it does. And where do you start your journey? Go to ChatGPT and tell it who you are, what are you doing, what problem you're trying to solve. See what it gives you and go from there. So let that be your first journey if you haven't tried anything.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for the wise words today, Eric. And we truly do appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Of course. And to everyone that is watching, be kind and thanks.